what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of B is for Build. In today's episode, we're still working on the Corvette. It's kind of a final assembly style episode. We have a massive list of final things that we need to take care of on this car. Things like side mirrors, headlights, taillights, blinkers, LED light bars, all sorts of good stuff. Should be a good time. Stay tuned. So with any build like this, especially when you have a small time frame, I highly recommend getting the base stuff done first, trying not to fiddle around, and then you make a list and then prioritize that list and basically be like, if we get through this chunk of the list, we can actually go to the event. The rest of the stuff would just be good to get done. That's kind of how we always do it here, and it really works out well. So I'm gonna prioritize my list and I'm gonna go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm gonna get started on is the gas filler cap over there. It is hanging on by one zip tie, and I feel like if we had about 5, it'd be a lot better. All right, we got that nice and out of the way, and those zip ties, although they look dinky, that's plenty to hold it onto there. Moving on, we're coming over here. Eric is working on the battery quick disconnect. Because the car has no doors, the battery will continue to drain because it thinks the doors are open once we're in park. So we are wiring in a battery disconnect. We're gonna do a piece of sheet metal that goes between the roll cage and the frame of the car, and then he's gonna attach that thing in there, and then you just pop that out, and that's how you disconnect the battery or reconnect the battery. While he's working there on that, I'm gonna come back in here, work on welding in a piece of angle iron right here and some stuff back here so we can do a battery tie down, make sure our battery stays still. All right, so this is our battery disconnect. You can see the 2 hot leads come up to here and here, and then you turn this, I don't know, you turn it this way, take it out, then the battery is disconnected. Put it in, turn it that way, the battery is reconnected. And then coming up here, we decided to weld this post to the back of the car for the battery tie down, because when we ran it to the back there, it pressed on the battery, and I didn't like the way that was kind of squeezing the battery. I didn't want to potentially have it puncture the battery casing. And then over here we did some angle iron going to this. So the battery's in there and we got a disconnect. We're good to go. That's the you know, the basics of the electrical and the battery situation and the relocation finished. Next up, some safety stuff and some silly stuff. I found a wing in my basement. This came to me with the, oh wow, when I bought the S2000, and I attempted to sell it a few times. It's a really nice pure carbon fiber wing, but I was never able to sell it, so now it's going on the back of Dr. Jenkins here. It's gonna get mounted back here, so Eric's in the process of welding up another rear bar. It's gonna come off of here at 45 and then back in at 45 like that, and we're gonna mount some taillights from that as well as mount our wing. While he's working on that, I'm gonna go ahead and cut off this crooked piece of smashed crap that is the rear bumper and start working on building a new one. All right, we got the back bumper cut off. All that crap is cut off. I think for that, to rebuild the bumper, we're gonna do a piece of the 2" by 3" steel that we use for the 240Z frame rail going across within a 2" bar on the top and the bottom of that. So I'm gonna be working on that. Meanwhile, Eric finished welding, cutting, coping, and welded up this piece right here across, which looks really, really nice. And from there, we're gonna go ahead and have a couple tabs of that super beefy steel coming off of here, and then they're gonna have a support bar going down, and that's to bolt up the spoiler to. Now the spoiler's just for funsies, and we may take it on and off and stuff like that. We're definitely gonna mount some taillight stuff up here, but we're doing these massive tabs and we want it to be able to hold weight, because in the future we may want to do a roof, like a cargo container, like on the roof from that bar back to the spoiler. So that's why we're gonna build it so it can take a lot of weight. Should be able to like stand on this thing when we're done. All right, we got a new rear bumper and a giant ass wing. So the wing is very, very sturdily mounted, and we got it up there, and if we decide we want to take it off, we can always use this as more of a cargo rack type of situation, but for now, Eric and I both like it. And that is strong enough that you could stand on it and it would be fine. Down here, we went ahead and just built a quick bumper out of these 3 pieces. We didn't weld each piece to each piece because we actually don't want it to be too strong. Too strong and the car won't absorb any impact. It's already technically too strong, but whatever. Beggars can't be choosers. We wanted to put a big log back there and strap it on, but we couldn't find a log. We tried to cut down a tree. Couldn't find the right tree. So that's what we have for now. It's working great, or it will work great. I don't know. Moving on, I'm gonna start wiring in the tail lights. So we need, in the rear, we need the brake lights, we need the driving lights, and we need the blinking lights. And then, so we're gonna get that out of this wiring mess here. I'm gonna be working on that. And then coming over here, Eric is going to be working on a bracket to hold the reservoir for the coolant reservoir, and that's probably going to mount up to this bar right here, somewhere around there. All right, we installed our rear tail light system. So this is a giant LED strip there, and then we have 2 on the bottom because we had a little trouble with running lights and braking lights. So here, go ahead and turn on the running lights. And that's those 2 right there, so they let people know we're there in the dark. And then tap the brakes. That's the big brake. And then left blinker. That's our left blinker. And then the right blinker. That's the right blinker. So we're all good. We're all set and all street legal and stuff like that. We're gonna move on to the front now and figure out some headlights and blinkers. All right, moving on to headlights. Rough Country a long time ago sent us out for the FJ some of these Chrome Series 2-inch square LED lights, and I had them sitting around the shop and I thought they would look really, really good on this project. And then Eric and I were looking at where to mount them, and we noticed that there was already some nice holes with some threaded nutserts in them. That was where the bumper used to bolt in. So we're thinking we could probably bolt the lights into there, and that's what we're gonna go ahead and bolt them all in and see how it looks. Oh, by the way though, thanks to Rough Country for sending these out. I'll put a link in the description if anybody's looking for a nice pair of LED lights. We'll show you what they look like right now. We've got our headlights mounted. They're nice and directional, so they're not gonna blind everybody outside of the path, but once you get in the path, they're really nice and bright. Oh, dude, we forgot about the LED light bar. We need to do that later on. That's a day after tomorrow thing. Anyways, so we got our headlights on here and they're wired into the headlight switch, and everything's good except for when you turn them off, there's like a faint little flickering. There must be like a phantom source of power, and it's enough to kind of pulsate the LEDs. So we're definitely gonna have to use that kill switch when we're done with the car, which we were already planning on doing that. Next, we're moving on to wiring in the blinkers. The blinkers are gonna go right about here. I'm gonna make a cut right here, bend this in, make it a little tab, and then we have some blinkers that will sit right here. All right, we just wrapped up on the blinkers. So we threw on some blinkers right here, and this is what I was talking about, cut it out and then bent it in, and then they fit in there really nicely. I like that location. They don't look beautiful, but they looked way worse in other spots. Eric threw on the license plates as well. I didn't show you guys this earlier, but this is our fluid reservoir mount right here. We did not find a good spot for the windshield washer sprayer. We have the whole setup, and we may build a secondary reservoir at another time, but that reservoir that we had just really wasn't looking good. So we didn't get all the way through the list today. We were gonna we gave this car 2 full days. We're gonna give the Mercedes 2 full days next, and then we'll loop back around and do some finishing touches on this car. So we'll finish off the list then. The light bar is one thing that I mentioned that we definitely want to do, and there's some other stuff. And leave comments below of what you guys would like to see, but for now I think it's time we take it on its first test drive. Well, we've got a good amount of looks so far. Where are we going? Red Robin?
Red Robin.
Red Robin. Place that doesn't serve steak. This is so scary. good?
So much dust.
Right in front of the police station, Eric. You nailed it.
This sounds awesome.
It sounds so good. We have built an amazing machine here. We should do this professionally.
I like it.
Corvette dune buggies coming to a town near you. B is for build spec. I think we get more looks in this car than any other car. Pretty positive of that. We're gonna need a whole camera for the Gambler just pointing out at other people. Dude, this thing is so crazy. We made it to Red Robin in style. America! Alright, park anywhere you want. I have a small problem with being in Oregon and rain, but we'll live. Alright guys, well we made it to dinner. That's a wrap. So let's see, we got 2 more episodes on the Mercedes and then 1 more on this, and then we're going on the Gambler. I hope you will join us for all of those. Thanks so much for joining us today. Remember, bsforbuild.com if you want to pick up some merch. Bs for Build on Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, all the good places. We'll see you on there, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace! Come on.